Welcome to Chicago Cubs baseball on CSN, presented to you by State Farm. It's the opener of a 4-game weekend series. The Chicago Cubs and the Arizona Diamondbacks here on Comcast Sportsnet. And welcome inside Chase Field. Roof closed tonight. Jim Deshaies and Len Casper. The Cubs had an off day yesterday following a 2-game sweep in Anaheim.
Yeah, 2 games is obviously a very small sample, but an impressive show put on by the Cubs over there in Anaheim. In all phases of the game, the pitching was outstanding. Offensively, they hit for power. They had 4 home runs. They worked a lot of walks. Ended up outscoring the Angels 15-1 in that 2-game series. So far, so good for this young Cub club.
And there's some real high hopes here in Arizona, although they lost their center fielder, A.J. Pollock, due to injury. They lost 2 of 3 to the Rockies, gave up a ton of home runs in that series. Ruby De La Rosa will go for them, and John Lackey tonight will make his Cub debut.
Yeah, the ball really jumps in this ballpark. It's a tough place to pitch. John Lackey has pitched well here in the past, and he was really good last year as a member of the St. Louis Cardinals. A 13-game winner, 2.77 ERA. Ruby De La Rosa 14-9 last year. Big issue with the home run ball. He allowed 32 round trippers in 2015.
So this weekend matchup will feature a couple of perennial MVP candidates, 2 of the best first basemen in baseball, Anthony Rizzo and Paul Goldschmidt. Cubs and D-backs are next.
Cubs baseball on CSN Chicago is brought to you in part by your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all. Ford, inviting you to check out their fuel-efficient lineup at your local Ford store or at localfordstores.com. And by Southwest Airlines. Transparency. Low fares. Nothing to hide.
Cubs leadoff man gets a hit. Benny's Beverage Depot will donate $100 to the Greater Chicago Food Depository. Actually, a threat of rain, which we did not see at all during spring training, but the roof is retractable here, so it is closed. For game one as John Lackey gets set to make his Chicago Cubs debut.
It was real steamy here earlier this afternoon. It's cooled off a little bit here in the ballpark, but because it has been mild, they've had the roof open for the most part until this threat of rain. And when it's like, if there's a 10% chance, that's a legitimate threat of rain here in the desert.
Set the umpires for you. Adrian Johnson will work home plate. The crew chief is Gary Cedarstrom. He's at first. Eric Cooper's at second. And Jim Wolf is at third. First of a 4-game series. Throwback night as the Diamondbacks honor their first playoff team, 1999. So they're going to wear the purple and teal pinstripe home uniforms, and they will have a different uniform combination for all 4 of these games. Now the Cubs Southwest starting lineup. 15 runs in the 2-game sweep at the Angels. Dexter Fowler, a big part of that, 5 out of 8. Jason Hayward will bat second. Ben Zobrist had 4 hits in that series. Anthony Rizzo with a home run the other night. Bryant and Schwarber looking for their first hits of the season. The former Diamondback Miguel Montero will bat 7th ahead of Addison Russell and the pitcher John Lackey.
Diamondbacks had one of the best defensive teams in baseball last year, and they figured to be quite good again this year. A.J. Pollock, the talented center fielder, broke his elbow, so he's out indefinitely. Chris Owings, an infielder, has taken over and is earning great reviews for his play out in center field. He's flanked by Peralta and Tomas right and left, respectively. Lamb Ahmed, on the left side of the infield. He can really pick at the shortstop Ahmed. Segura, the former Brewer. Goldschmidt, one of the best in the business at first. You know the catcher, it's Wellington Castillo. And Alexis, pursuing perfection starting pitcher for the D-backs here tonight, is Ruby, don't you dare call me Rubby De La Rosa. 14-game winner last year despite a high ERA, 4.67. Enjoyed great run support. Home runs were a bit of an issue. 32 long balls allowed in 188 2/3 innings. He can light up the radar gun. He can reach 100 miles an hour with his fastball. Will sit comfortably around 94. Also throws a slider, change, and occasionally a curveball.
Cubs enjoying a rare Wednesday off day. I know a bunch of guys got out, played some golf. It got up to about 100 degrees. I mean, we were just here less than a week ago, and all of a sudden it feels like summer.
Yeah, it's a kind of a weird little pattern they're in, but it's supposed to, like, again, a chance of rain and maybe cooling off a little bit over the weekend.
And there will be a lot of Cub fans in the ballpark this weekend, as is always the case here in Phoenix. The Cubs have not fared very well in this ballpark over the last few years. They have lost 13 of their last 17 games here, and their last series victory came in 2010. But dating back to the end of last season, they've now won 11 straight on the road.
Something's got to give.
Here's Dexter Fowler. Lamb even with a bag at third. Everybody else back, playing pretty much straight away in the outfield, and we are underway. 94 and a strike from De La Rosa.
Straight away and deep in the outfield. This ballpark, big alleys, big corners, yields lots of doubles and triples. So they're going to play a little deeper, especially for a speed guy like Fowler. You want to make sure you can cut the ball off and prevent it from rolling all the way to the wall.
De La Rosa coming back quickly, and that is in the dirt on a changeup. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Hayward and Zobrist to follow.
Well, the way Dexter was swinging it in Anaheim, he probably wishes there wasn't that off day yesterday.
Five for 8 to start the season with a double and a home run. And he sends a high fly ball out into center field. It is Chris Owings who has gotten high marks for his transition to the outfield. He's a middle infielder by trade. Well, they, on paper at least, are going to really miss A.J. Pollock offensively.
Yeah, Pollock, a very underrated player, but one of the better outfielders in the National League. A tremendous defender and a real good hitter as well. Owings will share time out there with young Socrates Brito.
Hayward 1 for 9 in Anaheim. Going with a different look with the knock socks, as they call them. Maybe change up his luck a bit. Foul tipped. 1-1 on Hayward. So after this series, it's back home. Cubs will open Wrigley Field on Monday night against the Reds. To bouncer to Gene Segura.
Yeah, this is where the hitters want to put a little something in the bank too. They had the beautiful hitting weather over in California, great hitting environment here, but you know, heading into that homestand, it's going to be cold and rainy, and wind is always a factor, and it should not be very hitter-friendly conditions at Wrigley next week.
Ben Zobrist 4 out of 9 to start the year. So he really tucks that front shoulder in, his chin basically touching that right shoulder as he gets ready to hit. This is going to be an easy first inning for De La Rosa as the shortstop Ahmed makes a catch. Cubs go quietly. John Lackey to the mound when we come back. West, Gene Segura off to a very good start after a huge spring. Nick Ahmed not known for his bat, but he's going to hit second ahead of Paul Goldschmidt. Peralta in right, the former Cub Wellington Castillo back of the plate. Jake Lamb at third, Yasmani Tomas in left. Owings in center, and De La Rosa, the pitcher, hitting ninth.
Where are the Cubs deployed? Well, right here. Schwarber's in left, Fowler's in center, Hayward's in right. Bryant, Russell, Zobrist, Rizzo. Third to first. Get used to seeing that. Montero's behind the plate for Big John Lackey.
His first pitch swung on and hit to deep right. Hayward is back at the fence, and it is gone. A first pitch home run for Gene Segura. And the Cubs trail for the first time this season.
Pitch might have actually been out of the strike zone. It was up. John Lackey threw strike one last year more than anybody in Major League Baseball except for Max Scherzer. So you can understand the Diamondbacks having an aggressive mindset here tonight, trying to jump on that first one. Yeah, that pitch is way up there, and he was able to ride it out of here to the opposite field.
So not the kind of start John wanted. Outside for a ball on Nick Ahmed, who hit ninth behind the pitcher in that Rockies series. Chip Hale riding the hot hand.
Well, John Lackey is our Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher here tonight. He can't be perfect, but he can still be good. And last year he was lights out, a 13-game winner. He does that every year, 12 consecutive seasons, double digits in the win column, except for when he was hurt. Low ERA, a strike thrower. He'll go fastball 90 to 94, but sit, 91, 92 for the most part. It's all about command for him. Slider, curve, and change. And then when he's on his game, he'll attack with that heater. He'll throw it 2/3 of the time. He got up to 95 with that one.
See Ahmed again. He's a premier defender. Don't expect too much offense from him, but off to a very good start. Swing and a miss, strike three.
Yeah, I think in a perfect world, Chip Hale would rather have some better on-base guys hitting in front of Paul Goldschmidt, but he just doesn't have it. Certainly not with these two guys. I mean, Segura and Ahmed both near the bottom of the league in terms of on-base percentage last year.
There's Chip Hale. In his second season managing the Diamondbacks. Heavy expectations going into this year. With the acquisition of Shelby Miller, the big signing of Zach Greinke, he kind of got a little cranky with the media after they lost on opening day and then apologized the next day. Said they were overhyping game one a little bit too much. 1-1 on Goldschmidt.
And Lackey will do that every now and then too. Change the arm angle, a little drop down that time. He's a tough-minded guy.
Drops down again. That one missed, and it's 2-2.
Goldschmidt has tremendous power, all parts of the ballpark.
And he has always hurt Cubs pitching. 371 in his career. That'll get out of play. So I don't know if you spent any time in Abilene, Texas, John Lackey's hometown.
No, I've never passed through Abilene.
Second round pick of the Angels, 1999. Full count, 3-2. If you haven't seen Paul Goldschmidt as an offensive player, he's kind of the right-handed version of Anthony Rizzo. He'll take walks, hits home runs, does everything well.
He finished second in the league last year in on-base plus slugging behind Bryce Harper. Anthony was fourth in that department. Yeah, he can steal a bag for you. He swiped 21 bases last year.
A couple years older than Rizzo. He's 28. And he just took ball four. Lackey really wanted it, didn't get it. So I guess we would say John Lackey's been a three true outcome pitcher, right?
Yep.
Home run, strikeout, walk to begin his Cubs career.
Yeah, and I think the home run might have influenced the walk, right? Segura popped him, and then you get a little gun shy with a guy like Goldschmidt up there. And I also think that Goldschmidt's a guy you identify in this lineup as somebody you're going to pitch very carefully to. Although this guy's no slouch either.
No, he's not. David Peralta. Look at the year he had last year. And a shot of Goldschmidt there earlier. Dave McKay, former Cub coach, is at first for the Diamondbacks. And Matt Williams, former Diamondbacks player and coach, fresh off a roller coaster ride in a couple of years as the Nationals manager, is back as their third base coach. So he's manager of the year one year, and then the next year, which was last year, just about everything that could go wrong, it seemed like, did in Washington. Lead by Goldschmidt.
Yeah, that's the nature of the game, right? One year they want to throw a parade for you, and the next they're running you out of town.
I believe, is he one of the legends? I think he is.
I think that's him next to
That's
Randy
him next.
Johnson.
Okay, gotcha. That's trouble. It's a fair ball. Goldschmidt on his way to third. He's going to be held there. Peralta, the converted pitcher, has a double, and he's 6 out of 15 to start the year.
Yeah, we talk about that stat OPS on base plus slugging. Among outfielders last year, he was second in the National League behind Harper. Rides this one into the corner again. This big ballpark, any little misplay out there, and it's an extra 90 feet. If Kyle doesn't play this carom just right, Goldschmidt's going to score, and Peralta would have a chance to get to third base.
So some trouble here for Lackey as he faces ex-Cub Wellington Castillo, and he pops it up. Montero and Rizzo and Anthony, could probably hear him call for it, and a big second out.
Yep. First pitch swinging. This time it's a slider popped up by Castillo. You see Rizzo coming in and loud and clear running Montero off.
Jake Lamb, the third baseman. Diamondbacks starting the year 1-2 after going 24-8 in spring training.
Gave up 20 runs in that 3-game set with the Rockies.
10 home runs they allowed.
Well, yeah, and the kid there, Trevor Story, had 4 of them. Yeah, you mentioned the high expectations here. They spent a bundle of money on in acquiring Zach Greinke, and they spent a lot in terms of prospects to acquire Shelby Miller. So they're in go for it mode here.
Towards center, and that's going to knock in a pair. Goldschmidt and Peralta are in, and it's a 3-run first for the Diamondbacks.
Boy, a breaking ball down below the knees, and Lamb keeps his head right on it. Just pings it up the middle. Didn't really hit it all that hard, but it was well placed. So John Lackey's third career start in this ballpark, and the previous 2 were outstanding. 7 innings, 1 run unearned back in '09, and then last year 7 innings, 1 run.
Osmani Tomas in the air. Right field, it's Hayward to make the catch. It's 3-0 Diamondbacks, and you're watching Cubs baseball on CSN, brought to you by State Farm.
for a must-win game against the Pelicans. There's a basketball team named the Pelicans. Coverage starts at 6:30 with Bulls pregame live, presented by Coors Light on CSN Chicago. What is these animals?
Are you familiar with the New Orleans Pelicans?
I am now.
Good to see Darnell McDonald, mental skills coach and former big leaguer. And all-around good guy.
And clearly the most stylish member of the Cubs traveling party. It's not even close.
So the Cubs in a 3-0 hole here. The first time they've trailed in the first 3 games to start the season.
Well, there's some nights you get down early like this and you feel like, man, it's a huge hill to climb. But in this ballpark, with this lineup, not so much.
Missed the inside.
De La Rosa pounding away at that inside corner. You got enough giddy up on that heater to compete in there.
One, two, and he gets hit 30 times last year. Never feels good, does it?
No, it doesn't. It's it's just the byproduct of the approach. He's right up on top of home plate, so they're gonna pitch him in. If you don't challenge Anthony and you don't try to push him off the plate a little bit, he's just gonna wear you out. Goldschmidt got whacked the other day too in the hand.
Here's Chris Bryant. Cubs have a base runner for the first time against De La Rosa, who will fire to first. Chris still looking for his first hit, 0 for 7 in Anaheim. Long pause and the pitch, and drilled into the left field corner for his first hit. Rizzo on his way to third, Bryant to second, and the Cubs have something cooking. Second and third, nobody out.
At this point, De La Rosa would feel good about getting out of this, allowing just one. That fastball intended to be outside part of the plate, runs back to the inner half. And then it was just buggy whipped into left field by Chris Bryant, KB. Infield stays back. Great RBI opportunity here for Schwarber.
0 for 4 in the opener Monday night. And takes a strike. I expect to see him behind the plate with Jason Hamill. Although you've got a lefty, Robbie Ray, on the mound for the Diamondbacks tomorrow night. But I think the fact that he worked with Hamill a lot in spring training, I think Joe will have that trump the platoon thing.
Yeah, I would agree.
Outside for a ball. And it's 1-1. Although you got a couple of guys, David Ross and Matt Caesar, swinging the bats well. He's got some interesting, I would say, good problems right now, right?
Many choices.
Yep.
A lot of options.
Infield back, 1-1, swing and a miss.
Yeah, and we talked about this last year. If you have a hard time pulling the trigger, making decisions like I do, I'd probably never put out a lineup card. I like this guy. No, let's go. I have to call my bench coach over here.
You do it.
Pick it out of a hat. De La Rosa, as you see in our pitch tracks from Menards, working away from Schwarber and tries a change up, down and in.
De La Rosa signed originally by the Dodgers in 07, traded to Boston October of 2012, and then traded here prior to last season. JD mentioned all the home runs he allowed. He did lead their staff in wins, starts, innings, and strikeouts. I think it's fair to say, with all due respect to Ruby De La Rosa, if he leads their team in those categories this year, that's not going to be a good year for the Diamondbacks.
It would be the $30 million of paying Greinke this year would probably not be well spent if that were the case. Unless his kid just likes him. You know, this guy at the time was one of the better pitching prospects in baseball. Now that kind of, you know, the shine is off a little bit. He struggled. He's command issues, but he did pitch a full season last year, and he still has that big fastball. 27 years of age. Maybe the light comes on for him this year.
3-2 with Montero on deck. Hit batter and a double to start this second inning.
De La Rosa and his battery mate Wellington Castillo grew up in the same neighborhood. De La Rosa didn't play much baseball. He played La Plaquita, which is similar to cricket.
From Santo Domingo, largest city in the Dominican.
Schwarber played football, which is similar to rugby.
You're trying to get to the same sport via cricket and rugby. 3-2 on him. And the pitch. We'll try it again.
Spoiled a good one. 97 running off the outside corner. You're in the protect mode a little bit. You got to respect the breaking ball and the changeup. So you're just fighting off that heater.
And they're loaded. Hey, Cub fans, let's go. Show your support of Cubs baseball from the beginning. Tickets are still available for opening week at Wrigley Field against the Reds and the Rockies. Get your tickets now at Cubs.com. An early visit to the mound from Mike Butcher, their new pitching coach. He replaced Mike Harkey, and he's got 10 seconds left as the shot clock moves down from 30. Coaching visits now to the mound are timed. Time's up, Mike.
It doesn't take long for Adrian Johnson, the home plate umpire, to work his way out there to break it up.
Number 47, Miguel.
They should have countdown music for those visits, kind of like maybe the Jeopardy theme for Final Jeopardy. Speaking of Jeopardy, bases juiced, nobody out for Montero, who's been swinging it well and pretty darn good numbers with the bases loaded too.
The former Diamondback in a pretty good spot. 3 on, nobody out. Ball 1.
Joe Madden said he was going to go deep tonight.
Well, the best time to do that would be with 3 men on base, mathematically speaking. And the 1-0 fouled off.
Montero's got a very good approach at the plate, and he's looking for something to drive. He usually tries to stay in the middle of the diamond in this situation. He doesn't want to roll over and hit into a double play. Oh, got a little greedy there. That was a nasty pitch. 89-mile-an-hour slider.
He homered off Fernando Salas on opening night in Anaheim. Addison Russell on deck. First time the Cubs have had to put the pitcher in the batting order. Lackey hitting ninth tonight. It's interesting, Joe, most of last year he hit the pitcher eighth. Now he's going back to the pitcher batting ninth, and a lot of other managers are doing what he did last year.
Bruce Bochy's doing it a little bit.
Chip Hale. The 1-2, he got him. Big first out for De La Rosa.
Montero usually pretty patient, but you just had a sense he was thinking about doing something big in that bat. Went after a couple pitches out of the zone, the slider down and in, and then the changeup down and away. Both were really well executed pitches by De La Rosa.
Russell, the third youngest player in the National League, 22 years, 75 days. Obviously, this is where you got to get it done. With one out and the pitcher on deck.
Good take. Rose has got good action on that slider.
So he's got the black and red shoes. That red glove doesn't really match what he's wearing tonight, but normally what the Diamondbacks wear, for sure. And a base hit. Here comes Rizzo. Bryant around third. He's going to score. It's 3-2. Addison Russell's first hit of the season.
No let up in this lineup. When they're not a bad pitch at all. Slider outer third and down a little bit.
Well, it looked to me, JD, like Chris Owings had a play possibly on Kyle Schwarber at second. Instead of throwing behind the runner, he threw toward third.
Yeah, it's kind of a high risk play, and he hasn't played a lot of outfield. He hasn't been in the outfield since high school, and I think he's probably been told on plays like that, make the cautious play. They love the way he goes after the ball out there. He looks very comfortable, but plays like that, they probably don't want him trying to overthink things.
Here's Lackey, a career 108 hitter. And his job is to get two into scoring position.
Joe Madden does not like the bunt. Obviously, it's a different animal when you got your pitcher up there, but a lot of times last year he'd turn his pitchers loose.
Yep. Squared and then took it.
It's the same way. A lot of times he'd wait until 2 strikes and then have them bunt. Take a whack at one, maybe try a slug bunt, and if nothing gets done, then go ahead and get the bunt down.
Foul ball. Adrian Johnson made the call at home plate.
Jones now in to have a word with Lackey. He sets up in pretty good position. Then he kind of brings the bat head back, loses his angle. Cubs used the sacrifice, I believe, fewer than or less than any team in the league last year. They and the Mets were right down here in the bottom, the two teams that ended up playing in the LCS.
And a late swing that time for strike three. It's a better result than hitting into a double play, though.
Dexter Fowler.
Here's Fowler. Flying to center to start the game.
Yeah, Mets used the sacrifice 29 times last year. Fewest in the league. Cubs are next to them at 32.
A strike called. The 0-1 hit on the ground to Segura to end the inning. Addison Russell with a two-run single. Cubs within one. It's 3-2 in the second. A free season-long subscription to MLB.TV Premium. Go to T-Mobile.com/MLB to sign up now and catch every moment on America's fastest-growing LTE network. Addison Russell knocking in a couple. 3-2, and we've only played an inning and a half. 8-9-1. For the Diamondbacks as John Lackey tries to settle in. Running fastball in and off the plate on Owings. Making his third start out of 4 games in the center field. 1 game in the outfield at any pro level prior to this year, and that was back in 2011 in left field in high A. We'll see Socrates Brito at some point this weekend out there. Hayward comes in. A.J. Pollock, we mentioned his injury. It looked fairly innocuous. Spring training right at the end. It's the second time he's broken that elbow. right there as he tried to get up. It's kind of a hybrid slide. It didn't look like a very dangerous slide, did it?
No, I think it was when he put his weight on his arm as he tried to push himself up. And, you know, as you mentioned, he missed all of 2010, his second year in pro ball with a broken elbow. So he had a pin in there, and I guess every spring it would kind of bug him a little bit. And he didn't play a whole lot during the exhibition season this year. And they thought they'd just gotten to calm down enough. So, you know, clearly it was going to blow. There was something going on in there. Another surgery, and may or may not be back this year.
De La Rosa strikes out.
But A.J. Pollock has turned into one of the better players in the National League. Last year, hit .315. He hits home runs. He steals bases.
Second baseman.
Plays tremendous defense. Funny, you think you have depth, you know, and his injury, and then of course the trade of Ender Inciardi to the Braves. He was a tremendous defender as well. All of a sudden, that depth is no longer there.
Well, they picked up Segura from Milwaukee. They already had Owings at second and Ahmed at short. And they were going to find a way to play all three, and now Owings getting his time in center.
Gene Segura needed a change of scenery. He was an outstanding rookie with the Brewers in 2013. Made the All-Star team. The last 2 years, his numbers way off.
Yeah, certainly a huge mitigating circumstance last couple of years. Tragic death of his 9-month-old son. An unspeakable ordeal to have to endure for any parent. And he cranks this one out into deep left center. Schwarber, Fowler, and neither can catch it. I hope they're all right. Schwarber's injured. Segura coming around third. He's going to try to score. Relay throw to the plate. It's a home run. The biggest concern right now for the Cubs is Kyle Schwarber. He is in major pain. Segura looks a little shaken up as well. Joe Madden running out along with Ed Halbert.
Oh. Dexter tries to go low to try to avoid Kyle at the end. He is going all out, eyes on the ball. Oh, my goodness.
So an inside the park home run for Segura. That looked very bad for Kyle Schwarber.
Oh.
Left leg or knee, it appears. P.J. Mainville, Ed Halber attending to Kyle.
Such a big outfield to cover, so it's not like one guy can yield to the other on a ball like that. Both guys in hot pursuit, both feeling like they had a shot at it. And just an unfortunate circumstance of great effort.
You see every position player except for pitcher and catcher are out on the warning track, expressing concern for their teammate. Now he's grabbing the left ankle or foot. This is going to take some time to get him back to the dugout.
Have a golf cart.
They've got to get a cart. Yeah. See PJ Mainville asking. And obviously we'll get another look at it. I don't know how you can avoid that. You know, the crowd's going crazy. Both guys are looking at the ball. It's hard to hear.
Right, and it's not one of those situations where one guy is got a better chance to make a play on the ball, so he's going to run the other guy off. Both guys are just going full speed, trying to track that thing down.
So it looks like Tommy LaStella is going to come in and play third, and Chris Bryant's going to go out to left.
It's obviously a huge blow for the Cubs, but for Kyle, 2 days into the season, so much optimism, high expectations. Hopefully it's not as severe as well. I mean, the fact he was able to put a little weight on it there at the end. So we'll just have to wait and see.
So LaStella will come in and play third. Bryant will head out to left. Well, that was a very high fly ball, and once it eluded both outfielders, it almost became a no-doubter inside the park home run. Segura, I thought he might have been shaken up. I think he had just lost his breath after rounding the bases. So he has 2 home runs in this game.
Now batting, shortstop, Nick Ahmed.
Two outs in the inning. Here's Nick Ahmed. And a swing and a miss. Lackey on an 0-1. And it's 0-2.
Making a little adjustment here. The fastball command has not been there for him so far tonight. He goes curveball slider to start this sequence with Ahmed.
And the inning is over. A devastating one for the Cubs. They lose their left fielder. Segura with a home run. It's 4-2.
Cubs Authentics is the premier outlet for all MLB authenticated Cubs memorabilia. Visit cubs.com/authentics to bid on weekly auction items and to pre-order game used bases and baseballs. The Cubs will donate net proceeds from the sale of Cubs Authentics to Cubs charities.
Big start for Gene Segura. He is now 8 out of 16. He's got 2 homers tonight. And De La Rosa with a first pitch strike on Jason Hayward. Foul near the on deck circle. Lots of other action earlier today. Yankees beat Houston 8-5. Starlin Castro's off to quite a start. A former Cub in his first 3 games as a Yankees, hitting .583, 2 homers and 8 RBIs.
That 8 RBI in 3 games is a franchise record. In the first 3 games of a season.
Fastball is outside. 2-2. Zobrist and Rizzo to follow. The Reds swept the Phillies, so they're 3-0 to start the season. 10-6 the final today. We'll see the Reds on Monday night at Wrigley. Line shot out toward the alley. Hayward will stop. It's a single. Nice play by Peralta to cut that ball off. That's 2, maybe 3 if it gets by him. A lot of room in the gaps here.
Yeah, Hayward with his gap-to-gap approach, if he were to play his home games here, he'd probably have 40 doubles. That fastball is center cut right down the middle for Hayward, and the Cubs are off and running again here in the 3rd.
Jay Bruce knocked in 5, hit 2 home runs today for the Reds.
Robert Stevenson, the winning pitcher in his major league debut for Cincinnati.
So the mound was his treasure island?
It was indeed. .23 steals for Hayward last year. He was caught only 3 times, so he's got De La Rosa's attention. Don't be surprised to see Wellington Castillo take a shot at him down there too. Willie likes the pickoff throw behind the left-handed hitter.
One and 0 on Zobrist. Ben is 34. He'll turn 35 in late May. Pitcher's strike. Boy, look like it was off the plate, according to our Menards pitch tracks.
Well, you can't rule out Hayward running in this situation, but in this ballpark, you got to be careful not to make outs on the bases, because there's an opportunity just to slug your way to a bunch of runs.
Diamondbacks honoring the late Joe Garagiola, who passed away in late March. Used to love seeing Joe up here in the press box, which is named after him. So the Diamondbacks will have that Joe patch. It's a nice touch with the catcher's mask in the dirt.
Yeah, I guess somewhat fitting that Joe passed away the same year as good buddy Yogi Berra did. Right now, Yogi's got his backup catcher up there.
That's right.
In baseball heaven.
Joe won the Buck O'Neil Lifetime Achievement Award 2 years ago, the Bud Selig Award 2010, the Ford C. Frick Award 1991. Three balls and a strike. De La Rosa really slows it down with men on base. The pitch. He walked him.
Well, we saw this in Anaheim. This Cub lineup with a patient approach really make a starting pitcher work. He got through the first quickly. Just a handful of pitches, but now they're really making him work.
Chip Hale going, well, we scored a lot of runs and we gave up a ton against the Rockies, and it feels like we might do the same tonight.
Familiar script here.
Yeah. As Rizzo steps in, we want to welcome all our viewers in Putnam County, Illinois, watching on McNabb cable and satellite.
Where they have the spelling bee? There, Putnam. There was a play, a Broadway play.
Really?
Putnam County spelling bee or something like that. Well, here's the game on. Rizzo back on top of the plate, and De La Rosa and Castillo go right back in there with the heater.
His 599th career game.
He hit an absolute bomb the other day in Anaheim the other night.
It's low and it's 2-0. Well, he has finally arrived. He has a food product named after him. Make sure you try Rizzo's new honey nut toasted oats. That's real. And part of the proceeds will benefit his charitable foundation. Congratulations to Anthony Rizzo. So if he had an extra bowl of Rizzo's today, that would help.
See how far he can hit it.
Yeah.
De La Rosa's attention, he was thrown over there with Hayward on first base. Now he's spinning back there. I mean, he's got a 2-0 count to a very dangerous hitter with two men on base. His attention ought to be right 60 feet 6 inches away at home plate.
PLBsports.com, Amazon.com, and some Chicago area Jewel Osco stores. You can buy Rizzo's cereal. Yeah, at some point he does have to throw a pitch, unless you can find a way to pick off both runners, and then there's still only 2 outs. That would change the game strategy quite a bit if he could just hold the ball and all of a sudden we'd go to the 7th inning.
He's in the 4 corners here. But he's getting booed by not only the Cub fans that are here, but I think a lot of the Diamondback fans are a little restless too. And this is a guy with plus stuff, and his mindset should be, I'm the predator. I'm on the attack because I got a 96-mile-an-hour heater. I got a wipeout slider. Let's go, and everything, you know. But his body language and the way he goes about it, it's like he's out there with you know, stuff that is way below that.
That'll get through. Here comes Hayward. Zobrist to third. It's 4-3. Rizzo's 4th RBI of the young season. Still nobody out.
Mike Butcher out to the mound one more time. Mike has an appearance clause, but if he does, he might cash in on it this year. Good swing here by Rizzo. Cubs were off yesterday. The Diamondbacks were not, and they gave up, as we mentioned, a bunch of runs in that series with the Rockies. I'm not sure what kind of shape their bullpen is in. They actually made a change. They called Kyle Drabek up from the minor leagues to supplement that bullpen. We may see some early action in that D-back pen.
Bryant doubled and scored in the second. And they'll give up the tying run for a shot at 2 here, trying to avoid the big inning. And Bryant pops it up. Castillo trying to find some room, and he does. He ends up on his backside. Rizzo tags and heads to second, and it goes into the outfield. A run scores. Man, the heads up base running by Anthony Rizzo. He tagged from first. Castillo threw it into right field, and Zobrist scores, and it's 4-4.
Yeah. Anthony Rizzo with a gutsy play, and it pays off big time. Castillo going into backpedal mode as that ball worked its way back towards the infield. A great read by Rizzo, tagging up, anticipating possibility of taking advantage. And you see Castillo rolling back over, and no big hurry to turn around, and Rizzo takes advantage. That's a Billy Hamilton type play by the big fella.
Infield in, Tommy La Stella with his first plate appearance of the season. Just came in to play third. Rizzo is going to hold, and La Stella's tagged out. It's the second out. And it'll be up to Montero with 2 outs. There's Kyle Drabek warming up in the Arizona pen. And the pitch, high chopper. Segura's got time, and that will end the inning. But the Cubs tie it up. That guy right in the middle of it, 4-4. Our Cubs insider all season long on Comcast Sportsnet, brought to you by Nationwide agent Jeff Vukovich. Visit Jeff at jeffvuk.com. Nationwide is on your side. It has been a wild start tonight. Strike on Paul Goldschmidt. It's not even Halloween. The 0-1 from John Lackey. Called strike 2.
He's trying to make an adjustment here. He knows his guys are putting up numbers for him, so it's a matter of him taking charge of this ball game. And it all starts with fastball command down and away.
And a base hit. Lackey's not happy with himself, but Paul Goldschmidt might be the most underrated player in the game right now. Would that be I mean, well, only Bryce Harper at a higher OPS.
Yeah.
You probably don't hear his name quite as much as some of the other elite guys.
Yeah, I think it's, his team hasn't been doing a whole lot of winning since he's been here. This market doesn't get a whole lot of national attention.
Goldschmidt around second. Matt Williams is going to send him. Peralta on his way to third. And the Diamondbacks lead again 5-4. Single triple to start the third.
This isn't Coors Field, but this ballpark in many respects plays a lot like Coors. It's at altitude, not quite like Coors Field. But again, it's so big out there, and the grass is cut really tight. So the ball's screwed. It's almost like AstroTurf at times. Singles turn into doubles and sometimes triples as outfielders aren't able to cut it off. So this is a line drive into shallow right center. Look at that thing scoot. And it goes all the way to that wall.
You just have some nights like this. If you're John Lackey, you just try to give your team a fighting chance. Got to forget about your ERA, certainly. Fowler way in, and he makes a shoestring catch. Peralta will hold it third. Pretty important there, JD, that Fowler didn't leave his feet, because that might have allowed Peralta to try to tag and score.
Yeah, if he leaves his feet to try to make the catch or tumbles after making the catch, Peralta probably does score.
So that's one out.
Yeah, and I also think if that's out number 2 right there, Peralta tries to score anyway, because he knows it's going to take Fowler a little while to right the ship to make that throw home. But the catch being just the first out, probably a good idea to play it conservatively.
So the infield will move in. Enough action for you here early? My goodness.
It's arena baseball.
We had a 1-2-3 top of the first and runs in every half inning since. And yes, we will give you a Kyle Schwarber update when we get one. Still nothing from the Cubs clubhouse. We do not want to speculate on the severity of his injury, as he had to leave a couple of innings or 1 inning ago. Outside. 2-1 the count. Line shot, and Bryant really couldn't set his feet, and it was certainly deep enough to get the run in. So a sacrifice fly for Lamb. He's knocked in 3 already, and it's 6-4.
That make him the sacrificial lamb?
It would.
Yeah, ball hit on a line. Chris has to retreat a little bit. Even if he's able to get behind that one, it would have been tough to throw Peralta out.
Two outs, bases empty, and now Tomas, that was a premeditated swing. Almost hit him in the head. By the way, Javier Baez, rehabbing from his thumb injury, did get hit by a pitch in the helmet recently, so that could possibly push his return back. Late swing.
Unlike De La Rosa, even though Lackey's getting hit around here tonight, he hasn't changed his tempo. He continues to work quickly. And you're right, you just have to have that mindset of maybe tonight's not my night, but I'm going to hang in there the best I can and see if we can outpoint these guys.
Lackey strikes out Tomas, but 2 more for the Diamondbacks, and they lead 6-4 after only 3 innings.
Pat Boyle previews the upcoming playoff push for your Chicago Blackhawks. Sportsnet Central Blackhawks playoff preview Tuesday at 10:30 on Comcast Sportsnet.
Minor league seasons are underway. The Iowa Cubs suffered a 7-3 loss to the Round Rock Express in Des Moines. Strike on Addison Russell. Double-A Tennessee Smokies, a winner, 3 home runs, 7-3 over Mobile. One ball, 1 strike. And the Pelicans, Myrtle Beach Pelicans, a 5-2 win over the Frederick Keys, the Carolina League.
Gleyber Torres. The Frederick Scott Keys. Is that why they're the Keys?
Possibly.
Frederick, Maryland. Francis Scott Key.
Gleyber Torres, the Cubs' top prospect, went 1 for 4 with a double, an RBI, and scored twice. Batted second, playing short. 2-2. Ripped to right, and it eludes Peralta. Russell on his way to second. He's going to hold there with a double. I like what you call it, arena ball tonight.
Has the feel of a game that's going to take double digits to win. Now you never know. Sometimes the pitchers settle in and take charge, or somebody will come out of that bullpen and change the tone. But right now the hitters are feeling their oats. 3rd consecutive inning, the Cubs have had the leadoff man reach, and it's an off-field double this time for Russell.
Now the odds of a John Lackey hit here are pretty low, but considering what's going on, I mean, do you just give up an out to get him to 3rd?
I would imagine Joe would play the game the way he usually does. Let him swing once and then bunt, perhaps. He didn't look comfortable in his at bat last time.
No.
And sometimes that'll influence the manager's decision making. And with Goldschmidt in as tight as he is at first base, you know, Lackey could get beat by a heater and just kind of punch one into right field for a base hit.
Now this has looked like an NBA All-Star game here early. 160 to 158 final. 2 balls, no strikes on the pitcher.
Yeah, I assume taking here.
Ball 3. Well, De La Rosa's got a better argument for the second pitch, as you saw on our pitch tracks. Looked like it caught part of the zone, but that one did not.
Well, now Lackey will likely take 2 in a row.
Might he take 3?
He might take 3. I don't think he would be told to take 3. He's hacking.
And Russell's got a hold. So 1 out. And here's Fowler.
Center fielder, Dexter Fowler.
Not a bad swing at all.
Fowler has flied out and grounded out. Close. Russell got back in. Dodgers finally gave up some runs today after shutting out the Padres in that 3-game series. They got thumped 12-6 in the Giants home opener. Driven out into deep right center, and it is off the wall. Russell will score. Fowler on his way to third. It's a triple. 6-5 now.
Stay hot, Dexter. De La Rosa continues to focus on base runners, and it probably shouldn't be. Fastball out over the plate for Fowler. Beautiful swing of the bat. He almost got out of here. A lot of guys between second and third look like they're running in quicksand. It looked to me like Dexter was accelerating.
Infield back except for Lamb at third, and Castillo just saved a run, at least for the time being. Hunter Pence hit a grand slam in that Giants win. Joe Panik at 3 RBIs. Dodgers ended up with a 31-inning shutout streak. 1 short of the record to start a season. The 63 Cardinals went 32. One and one. Way outside. Rosa, his third career start against the Cubs. Gave up 7 earned runs in 11 innings, 2 starts last year, and then cuffing him around again tonight. 3-1. It's also the kind of night where each manager probably pulls the starter if the game weren't so tight.
Yeah, you're basically buying time because you continue to score. You feel like you can ask a little bit more out of your starter. It was Drayback earlier. Now it's Barrett throwing for the Diamondbacks.
3-1 changeups, ball 4.
That's going to do it.
So the Cubs are down 1, but they have runners at first and third with only 1 out. A slugfest here in Arizona. 6-5 Diamondbacks in the 4th. How do you get to, well, let's do the other one here. Saturday, April 23rd, the 11th annual Race to Wrigley charity run presented by ATI Physical Therapy. The 5K course runs through the streets of Lakeview and concludes at Wrigley Field. Cubs Charities will donate proceeds to support critical care needs for pediatric patients in Chicago through Advocate Children's Hospital. Sign up at racetowrigley.com. Here's Jake Barrett. He went to high school in Mesa, Desert Ridge High, and then Arizona State, and recently made his big league debut.
Hard throwing right-hander, good 96, 97 miles an hour, that heater. Not the type of game you're really anxious to enter. With the hitters, it's like, you sure? You sure you want me? Chip Hale gave De La Rosa every chance to kind of settle in and find his groove. Couldn't find it, so he'll try Barrett.
You're just begging for a Grin and Barrett reference, but I'm not going to do it.
Wouldn't be prudent.
I guess if Justin Grimm were in the game, it would be Grimm and Barrett.
Grimm and Barrett. There we go. That needs to happen.
Ball 1 on Ben Zobrist. The Cubs have not led this game. Yet. Fowler at third, Hayward at first. There goes Hayward. The pitch gets by. Fowler on his way to the plate. We are tied 6-6. Stolen base and a wild
Stolen
pitch.
base. Run comes home on a wild pitch. We've had a tag up from first on a pop up to the catcher. We've had an inside the park home run. I mean, if you're playing baseball bingo tonight, every possible outcome is going to be filled up on that card. Castillo should have gloved that ball and ruled a wild pitch, but Welly should have been able to handle that one. Hayward head down, chugging hard.
Very good base runner. 2 runs here in the 4th. The Cubs have scored 2 in the 2nd, 2 in the 3rd, 2 in the 4th. Really need John Lackey to put up some zeros. The Diamondbacks have scored in their first 3 innings. 2-0 on Zobrist. 3-0. Make it. Now the board is stuck out there. 3 balls, no strikes. We had it right.
6 runs, 6 hits apiece.
He walked him.
Tough situation for this rookie pitcher to come into this kind of a game against this lineup. There's Mike Butcher again.
His 3rd visit of the night.
He's got an appearance clause.
There's a Hall of Famer, Tony La Russa. He is the chief baseball officer. His senior vice president and general manager is Dave Stewart, a former all-star pitcher. Stewart, a former player agent. Pretty interesting. His wife Lonnie Murray has continued that business. A big article written about the kind of touchy conflicts of interest that they are trying to avoid. That is a fair ball. Right field corner. Cubs will get the lead for the first time tonight. 2 runs will score. Rizzo to 3rd. He's got a triple. What a night he's had. It's 8-6 Cubs.
Like one of those football games where the last team to have the ball is going to win. First 1 to 10 wins. Well, they try to go back inside with that fastball. These are high-speed Xfinity replay. Just barely fair, but fair enough. We talked about his athleticism earlier when he tagged and went from first to second on the foul pop behind home plate. Now the big man legs out a triple.
Might have set a record for infield in with these 2 teams combined in 3.5 innings. Ball 1 on Chris Bryant. The 1-0 offering. Oh, what a play. Safe at 3rd, throw to 1st. Safe there. Ball gets away. Rizzo will score. Bryant to 2nd. He will be out there. 2nd out of the inning. Lamb with a great stab of that one hopper to 3rd. But then he threw it away, and it's 9-6.
Yeah, he tried to make the tag play at 3rd base, and Rizzo was back on the bag, and there was a little hesitation before he ultimately threw that ball to 1st. Goldschmidt couldn't pick it. Chris Bryant is arguing that he's safe. He wants him to take a look at it. You see, Lamb kind of has to work his way around Rizzo. By that time, he's a little late to the party.
So we'll see how they score that. There will be an error somewhere in there, I think.
And he's safe.
Ooh.
He's safe unless he came off the bag, but the front foot got there ahead of the tag. I believe, yeah. It looked like he's. It looked, yeah, man, that's.
The call on the field is that the runner is out at second base. The
This is the Forsythe replay review. It has been challenged by Joe Madden.
Let me check and see if there's a full moon out there tonight. So it looks to me like his foot got in ahead of the tag. All right, boom. That looks safe-ish to me.
So Bryant has been given a single. And Rizzo scored on Lamb's error.
Yeah, we couldn't tell from that angle whether there was a period of time where Bryant was not in contact with the base, where it was front foot on and then maybe was off the bag momentarily till the back foot made contact.
What haven't we seen tonight?
I know.
We've seen an inside the park home run.
Tail foot got there. Well, yeah,
I think he's going to be safe.
He's safe.
We're going to have an overturned replay.
And it is real close, and it's one and you know, without replay you wouldn't even argue, right? Either way, bang bang play could have gone either way, but with the ability to really slow it down and take a good long look, he appeared to be safe. Yep,
and he is. So Joe keeps his challenge. Batting 1,000 on replay reviews. It's 9-6. This is a 5-run inning, and still now only 1 out.
Double, triple, walk, triple, single error.
Stella 0 for 1 and a strike. Hope you don't have an early morning appointment tomorrow.
We haven't had a catcher's interference yet in this game.
We have not.
Yeah.
We have not had obstruction. I feel like we're going to have one of those neighborhood play deals at some point. Just because.
Probably going to get a line drive here pretty soon from La Stella. He's pretty good at that.
Oh, and 2 on Tommy. There it is.
They're at 24 years of age, 6'2", 240. Originally drafted by Toronto, 3rd round in 2009, but did not sign. And as Len mentioned, went on to ASU.
The 2-2 pitch. He's run it full. We got a tweet from Mitch. He said we need a fan running on the field. It's still on my bingo card. No, we don't need that. That's one thing we definitely don't need.
Well, I suspect he's going to challenge with a heater here. Up for the second time tonight is Kyle Drabek.
Sharply hit on the ground right at Segura for out number 2 as Bryant advances to third. And so the Dave Stewart story, his wife Lonnie Murray is a player agent continuing the business her husband had built before he became the general manager here under Tony La Russa. She represents 31 players, including 6 in the Diamondbacks system. So I guess she is not allowed to be involved in negotiations involving the Diamondbacks as a result of a unique circumstance. And it kind of works both ways. You don't want any favoritism toward players represented by the general manager's wife. But as Tony La Russa talked about in the article that I referenced, you also don't want to not have a guy on your team just because he's represented by her. So if that guy can help us win, we owe it to ourselves to have him.
It's interesting because there's all kinds of relationships in the game between general managers and agents. They're friendly with some and not so much with others. So you could see her trying to make that case. Now wait a minute, Agent X is a good friend of this general manager. People like to do business with certain people.
There's the 1-1 and fouled back by Montero. Well, Al Avila and his son Alex, right, were in Detroit together for a brief amount of time before he ended up with the White Sox.
I guess my concern would be if I were the Players Association, I would want to make sure she wasn't signing her guys to sweetheart deals, like club-friendly deals, because of her relationship with Dave.
Well, again, apparently she's not allowed to negotiate. And yeah, it's an interesting.
Be like a good series on HBO.
Bounced foul. Well, if the rest of this series is anything like tonight, and it's a 4-gamer, we are in for a wild one. 1-2.
Good take.
Inside.
Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be a fun little game to play before coming into a series here at Coors Field. Try to do a guess the total number of runs scored in a series. And again, this is where if you're a hitter, you want to fatten up those numbers before you head back into the cold.
Inside again. And it's 3-2. This offense, we've already seen it at times here in these first 3 games, can be relentless. Deep counts. Do not give an inch.
Yeah, I would not be surprised to see the Cubs lead the league in time of game this year.
Bounce towards center. Ahmed diving stop. What a play. Just saved a run. But the Cubs still put up 5 runs to grab their first lead tonight, 9-6.
Available at your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/Cubs to learn more. Member FDIC.
Got the word from the Cubs media relations staff. Kyle Schwarber has a sprained left ankle. The initial x-rays were negative. He will have an MRI tomorrow. Fowler with the RBI triple. Rizzo knocked in 2 with a 3-base hit, so they lead this game 9-6. Obviously, the goal is to win this game tonight, but I think the biggest thing about tonight is that Kyle Schwarber's ultimately all right.
Yeah, given the way that looked, that's really good news.
Now, obviously, sprains can be really bad, but we probably won't know much more until the MRI tomorrow as Chris Owings fouls away. There's the 0-2 from Lackey, and it's in the dirt. I'm sure you had a start or two like this where you say, well, my goal is to win the game. I don't care how many runs I give up. Just the finish line is probably 5 innings, right?
Yeah, you just have to change your mindset. You know, at the end, when you look back on it, you're not going to be able to say, man, I was good tonight.
Easy play, Russell. 1 out.
But you do take a certain measure of pride of just not giving in. I guess that's the most important thing mentally. So some guys in an outing like this are looking over their shoulder, peeking out to the bullpen, thinking, why don't they get me out of here? But the goal is to keep competing.
Socrates Brito will pinch hit for the pitcher Barrett. Line closed on De La Rosa. 7 runs, 6 earned in 3 1/3. ERA of 16.20, which is what Lackey's is at the moment.
Well, how about their starters here? With what happened to Greinke and Miller. Corbin pitched yesterday. I think he was better.
And this time no collision as Fowler makes a catch. Boy, I tell you, I held my breath on that one after what we saw earlier. And Bryant Fowler able to communicate there. Here's Segura. First pitch of the game, he hit over the fence in right, and then in the second, an inside the park home run to left center. And that's pretty rare to hit multiple home runs in a game, with one being an inside the Parker. 8th player in Major League history to hit a leadoff homer and then later hit an inside the Parker. That one will not leave the yard as Zobrist charges and throws him out. So the first scoreless, hitless inning for Lackey. It's 9-6 Cubs. Suite experience at Wrigley Field on the Nuveen Investment Suite level. Businesses and individuals alike find suites to be the perfect private setting to host their guests. To book your unforgettable premier experience at the ballpark, visit Cubs.com/premier. We can speak from firsthand experience. We did a broadcast from one of the Nuveen suites a couple of years ago. It's a great spot.
I'd be up for that again. Kyle Drabek, the right-hander now for the Diamondbacks. Those are his numbers with the White Sox last year. He appeared in just 5 games with the big club. And he was 7-11 with a 3.37 ERA, making 24 starts for their AAA club at Charlotte. Former first-round pick of the Phillies and was traded on to Toronto. He's had all kinds of injury problems. Tommy John surgery twice, I believe. Just called up a couple days ago. Went to high school with Paul Goldschmidt in the Woodlands, Texas. Won a state championship together.
Two and 0 on Addison Russell. He started the 5-run fourth with a double, and he went around 2 and 1. So he's got 2 hits, 2 RBIs. From the stretch, the pitch. 3 and 1.
Drabek clearly intent on keeping that ball down, around, or below the knees. Pre-injury was a guy who would go 94, 95 miles an hour. Now he's trying to remake himself as a sinker baller. Don't quite have the velocity that he once did.
Swing and a miss, 3 and 2. Kyle's dad, Doug, Cy Young Award winner with the Pirates, 1990. 22-game winner that year. Wasn't an all-star that year, though. Swing and a miss, he got him. So Drabek comes back and strikes out Russell. And it will bring up John Lackey.
A good comeback by Drabek. Misfiring early, but he got the feel for that sinker and found the bottom of the zone, got Russell over the top. Doug Drabek is now pitching coach in the Diamondbacks organization.
Oh and 1 on Lackey. Backhanded play, Ahmed. 2 outs. So Jason Hamill with his season debut tomorrow night against left-hander Robbie Ray. On Saturday evening, Kyle Hendricks against Zach Greinke. And then Sunday afternoon, Jake Arrieta and Shelby Miller. You'll see tomorrow night's starters. And ball 1 on Fowler. Cubs have scored 9 times tonight and have not yet hit a home run. Jake was terrific on opening night. Three and 0. Yeah, you said time of possession. I think there's a good chance the Cubs will lead the league in walks, strikeouts, and home runs.
The 3-0 pitch the other night that Fowler hit into the seats.
Yeah, the adage is 2 outs, 3-0. You know, double's better than a walk. That's why Joe has no problem with guys swinging. Three and two. Well, the other night he hit that home run on the 3-0. His wife Daria was recording his daughter Naya. She was very excited to see her dad on television. Daddy. And he walks this time.
And Daddy, with his speed, could turn a walk into a double that way, too.
Right.
There she is.
That's great. Posted that on social media. So here's Hayward. He has scored twice.
Oof.
Mike Butcher's coming back out for his 4th
at least
trip to the mound tonight.
So we'll see. I guess when it gets down to 10, that's when the home plate umpire starts his walk.
Another Cub hitter in a favorable count.
Diamondback almost exclusively going with that sinking fastball. I recall seeing a breaking pitch.
Boy, Castillo may take
he's going to be worn out at the end of this one.
Might take an ice bath after this game. Back-to-back 2-out walks.
Six walks issued by Diamondback pitching so far tonight. The let up.
The 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hayward, Zobrist, and Rizzo have all scored twice tonight. 2-1.
And the pace of this game, it presents a challenge to the position players, right? Just to maintain that focus. A lot of pitches, a lot of time between pitches.
I'm sorry, did you say something? Kidding. 2-1 on Zobrist. Cubs lead by 3. Trying to rally here with 2 outs.
These hitters just will not give these pitchers a break. They're just not going to expand. Not if you're behind them. You get ahead, you know, guys might expand a little bit. Ben has walked twice in a row and in a favorable count again here.
He has walked the bases loaded. Well, this is the kind of inning in the dugout they're saying, don't let him get away with it, right?
Yep.
Don't let him off the hook.
Yeah, that's just, you know, get 2 quick outs, then 3 walks. Now he's got to deal with Rizzo.
Wendell Delgado up.
This kind of game where the pitching coach just starts to inch away from the manager a little bit with each pitch.
Rizzo hit by a pitch, scored a run. Singled in a run. Knocked in 2 with a triple. Terrific base running play. He tagged up on a foul out to the catcher, and that led to a run in the 3rd inning. And he bats with 3 on and 2 outs. Another pitch in the dirt.
Yeah, and I don't know if, you know, working out of the bullpen, Drabek's been mostly a starter throughout his career. I don't know if he's limiting his repertoire a little bit. He used to have a nice curveball. That was his dad's signature pitch. Got a heck of a breaking pitch. I've seen, you know, a changeup or 2. Everything else has been 2 seamers. There's the change.
Oh, one guy who loves what he's seeing right now, that's John Maley, the hitting coach. And the 2-0 is a strike. There's just no anxiety, right? Take a strike, whatever.
Yeah.
What else you got? You know, that's been the vibe here in this inning for sure. There's John Maley. Two one, hammered foul.
Tough to keep that one fair. That ball moving in on the hands.
This will be pitch number 28 of the inning.
On the move with the pitch, double should clear the bases.
Fowler from third, Hayward from second. Zobrist will take off from first.
He hits it in the pool, it will definitely clear the bases.
Yep. There they go. Here it comes. And this time Drabek gets Rizzo after walking them loaded. Still 9-6. And we welcome those viewers who watch the Blues Blackhawks tonight. There's a roller to the shortstop Russell, who gets Nick Ahmed. John Lackey trying to settle in. That has not been an easy proposition for any of the pitchers tonight. Cubs lead 9-6 here in the bottom of the 5th. If you just joined us, Cubs lost Kyle Schwarber earlier with a left ankle injury. The initial x-rays were negative. He's going to have an MRI tomorrow, but the initial diagnosis is a left ankle sprain. As Paul Goldschmidt takes ball 1.
Lackey has retired 7 in a row now.
I know you're a big Blackhawks fan, so they will finish 3rd in the Central. Their first round opponent still yet to be determined. Dallas and St. Louis still jockeying for 1st. One game to go in the regular season. That line not pretty for Lackey, but if he can get these next 2 outs without anything weird happening, he can qualify for a win.
Yeah, and he's made 63 pitches, you know, so if he continues to settle in here, he could stretch it out and give you a couple more innings too. On a night where it looked like it was going to be an early move to the bullpen, might not be the case.
Golfed high in the air, right field, and it's Jason Hayward. That's 8 in a row now sent down by Lackey.
Yeah, he's settled in a little bit.
Peralta, quite a story. He's got a double and a triple tonight. I mentioned he's a converted pitcher. Started out in the Cardinals organization. He was undrafted, and he's 3 for 3. Hayward picks it up. Peralta on his way to second. The throw there is late. Good throw by Hayward. Just a little late. He didn't make it as a pitcher. He came back as an outfielder via the independent circuit and has become the premier offensive player in the outfield here.
Yeah, he played for the Rio Grande Valley White Wings, released in May of 2009.
Castillo 0 for 2. Last year played for 3 different teams. Remember, he started the year with the Cubs as one of 3 catchers. After the Cubs acquired Miguel Montero, he was moved to the Mariners. That didn't go particularly well statistically, but then really flourished with the Diamondbacks. He hit 17 home runs in 80 games. Backhanded playlist, Stella. And the inning is over. After 5, it's the Cubs 9 and the Diamondbacks 6. This week only, T-Mobile customers can get a free season-long subscription to MLB.tv Premium. Go to T-Mobile.com/MLB to sign up now and catch every moment on America's fastest-growing LTE network. Roof closed tonight, which we were told might help the pitchers a little bit.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Famous last words. Chris Bryant takes a strike. Double, foul out, single, and a run. First 2 hits of the season here in game 3. And the 0-1. Forsythe replay review earlier. He thought he was safe on a tag play at second. Went to the headsets. Checked in with the replay center, and they said, yeah, he was safe. That was in the 4th. He sends one in the air out toward Peralta.
Well, still a lot of baseball yet to be played, and Diamondbacks certainly capable of putting crooked numbers on the board, and not the way you would dial it up or recommend it. But Kyle Drabek last inning flirting with disaster after 2 outs, walks the bases loaded, and then has to deal with Anthony Rizzo, and was able to ultimately get him to chase a pitch out of the zone.
1-0 on La Stella. Have you seen the news regarding the possibly the new founder of baseball?
I have not.
Okay, well, there have been documents found from 1857 penned by Daniel Lucius Doc Adams. It was titled Laws of Baseball. Baseball, 2 words. As La Stella chops, pitcher covering. It'll go 3-1 for the out. Yeah, these documents are up for auction currently. It was thought that Alexander Cartwright was the founding father of baseball. And the year was 1860, but now they're going back to 1857. So Cartwright is called the father of the modern game, according to the story. But now they're saying, no, there was a guy in 1857 named Doc Adams. John Thorne is Major League Baseball's official historian. And he told the Associated Press, quote, he's the true father of baseball and you've never heard of him. The auction lasts until April 23rd if you'd like to get in on it. Montero fouls out of play.
Did Nicolas Cage discover those documents?
Don't know. He will in the movie. Adams was the president of the New York Knickerbockers Baseball Club. So Drabek with a 1-2-3 inning. First time the Cubs have gone down in order since the very first inning. Oh, we recognize that guy in bobblehead form. That's Bob Brenly. We'll talk with him tomorrow night. 9-6 Cubs.
Matchups in baseball. Join the season ticket holder waiting list. It's easy. Free to register. For details, visit Cubs.com/waiting list.
Here's Jake Lamb, 2-run single first inning, sac fly in the third. Ball one. Yeah, I guess the good news for Lackey is that the damage he gave up, it didn't take long, right? And a base hit. Not like he worked a ton of 3-2 counts with a bunch of foul balls.
No, and he doesn't change his approach. He continues to attack. Plays the percentage game. I'm just going to try to throw as many quality strikes as possible. Most of the contact, most of the hits have been clean, though, right? It's not like there's been a lot of bloopers or slow rollers. Most have been well struck.
And there is action in the Cubs pen, and I think any sort of trouble beyond that leadoff base runner, and Joe will go to a stocked, rested bullpen.
Yeah, you want to bring some guys in and get some swings and misses on a night like tonight. Just keep the ball out of play, and that guy warming up is certainly capable of doing that.
Tomas swings and misses. Second big league season. Got a big 6-year contract prior to last year worth $68.5 million. He's from Havana, Cuba, 25 years old. You throw that pitch again? He hasn't looked good on the first two.
I might not throw it right now, but I might come back to it at one point. If I throw it again, I'm going to throw it a little further out and a little further down.
Yep, that's exactly what he did.
Yeah, and it's interesting, you know, there's basic tenets of pitching. You don't want to throw the same pitch in the same location three times in a row. If you're working a guy away, you feel like you have him set up to come inside, you do that. So soft away, hard in. I think the way the game is scouted and analyzed now, I think there's more information. So sometimes pitchers get away from that based on the scouting report on a specific hitter. As if to say, well, yeah, normally you would, after a couple breaking balls away, you might come in. But against this guy, just stay soft away. He doesn't hit it. You know, I think there's more information now. You know, talking about Mike Borzello, you know, in the strategizing he does, putting together a game plan for both the hitters and the pitchers. A lot of times that's what it is for the pitchers. It's how can you get ahead? Where's the safest way to go to get ahead? And then where do you go to finish a guy? Tomas wants to think it over because he's trying to figure out where they're going to go. And you see 5 there, that last one in a little bit. So he's probably thinking they're going to go back to that slider away. He was right. Still didn't put a good swing on it.
Matt Latos won his first game with the White Sox, 6-1. Sox beat the Oakland A's to take 3 of 4 in that season opening series. Jose Abreu went deep. The pitch knocked down Montero, and he pounces on it. And that keeps Lamb at first. Robin Ventura got his 300th managerial win. 2-2 the count. Yankee win. They took 2 of 3 from the Astros to start that series, start the season. See if they can turn it here. La Stella, Zobrist, Rizzo. And Lackey pumped his fist as he got the 5-4-3 double play ball, something he did a lot last year with St. Louis. Produced 29 double plays last year. That was tied for the major league lead and was a career high. Two outs, nobody on. Here's Owings. And this should find the seats, and it will. Owings looking for a much better offensive season. Last year he had the lowest OPS among all major league qualifiers. 587. He was the only player under 600. Seems like Adrian Johnson's giving a little bit more of the inside corner and off it to right-handed hitters and not the outside here tonight.
Yeah, I would agree. That one, that last one there, number 2 on our chart. He's probably off the plate a little bit, but seems like Adrian's been a little more generous on the other side of the plate. Montero tried to cradle that one back to the corner.
Line shot deep right, caught by Hayward, and the inning is over. We played 6 from Phoenix. Cubs lead 9-6. CHN Chicago, and it's game 3 of this series. Cubs and Diamondbacks, Hendricks and Greinke. Starting Saturday at 6:30 with Cubs pregame live, presented by Fields Auto on Comcast Sportsnet. Guessing that's going to be it for John Lackey. 6 innings in the books. His spot is due up second here in this inning, and with that, Matt Caesar has walked up to the on-deck circle. So his ERA is 9, but he has a chance to be 1-0.
Yeah, and he basically came in relief of himself.
Right.
After giving up all that damage early, settled in, and his performance through the middle innings, a big key so far for the Cubs if they can hang on and win this one.
Remember, the first pitch of the game was hit out of the ballpark, and look out, that goes flying and actually hit the Diamondbacks mascot. Is that D. Baxter?
Yeah, you just don't mascot rage. It's you need to settle him down a little bit. There was a woman next to him that got a piece of it.
And that young fan will take that bat home as a souvenir. Thankfully, everybody looks to be okay. 1-2. Orioles swept the Twins 4-2 the final earlier tonight. Ubaldo Jimenez got the win. Marlins over the Nationals in DC 6-4, so that's the Marlins' first win. They're 1-2. Pedro Strop. Red Sox and Indians were postponed as Russell draws the leadoff walk.
Folks, are you in charge of planning your next social gathering? Plan a day or evening at Wrigley Field and enjoy special perks only available inside the ballpark. The Cubs offer special ticket packages for groups of 15 or more. If you're interested, visit Cubs.com/groups. They'll take good care of you.
So Matt Caesar will pinch hit. A big series in Anaheim. Came off the bench, had a 3-run double in the opener. He homered in game 2. In a starting role, he's 3 for 5 with 4 RBIs. And they'll check on Russell. In that 2-game set, Mike Trout and Albert Pujols combined to go 0 for 15. Tonight they're combined 1 for 6 against Texas, but the Angels lead that game 3-2 in the top of the 7th. Ball 1 on Caesar. Escobar has homered for the Angels. Robinson Chirinos for the Rangers. Bounced foul. So that is the only other game still going on this Thursday night.
Russell takes a very aggressive lead over there at first base.
The line on Lackey, 6 innings, 6 runs on 8 hits. He helped his cause by only walking 1. He does throw strikes. Gave up 2 homers, both to Gene Segura. That's bunted foul. 1-2.
Segura, who had a total of 6 home runs all last year. His numbers, if you're a fantasy player, you probably would have rated Segura a lot higher this year than last. Not that Milwaukee's a bad hitter's park, but this one's one of the best.
So he had 6 last year. He's got 3 already this year. That is exactly half of 6.
It is, 6. Yep.
So he is on pace to pass last year's total. Fairly early, I would say, too.
Blow right by it.
It started in spring training. He hit .469 in the Cactus League. 3-2. Have you ever seen a relief pitcher throw this many pitches in the dirt?
No.
It's like every other pitch.
Yeah. Like I said, he's made that commitment. If he's going to miss, he's going to miss down.
There goes the runner, and it's tapped foul. Mike Butcher was checking on a reliever. I don't think because he wants to take Drabek out, but I think the umpires are saying we're running out of baseballs.
Somebody back in the umpire's room furiously rubbing up some new balls. Segura's best home run season was 2013 when he hit 12 for the Brewers. There goes
Russell goes. Another foul. Ground ball, base hit. Russell on his way to third. They're at the corners with nobody out.
Well, great at bat by Caesar, and he delivers yet again. He is pressing his case to stay on this roster when Javi Baez ultimately is activated, and he has forced Chip Hale to come out of that dugout to make another pitching change.
Cubs threatening to add on to their 3-run lead when we return. Straight on the road, trying to tie going back to at least 1913, the Cubs record. The 12th straight on the road. This is Andrew Chafin, a left-hander.
The only left-hander in the bullpen for the Diamondbacks. Cats in the cradle. 5-1 last year with a couple of saves, 66 games as a big leaguer. And he pitched to a 2.76 ERA.
Well, Cats in the cradle, and right there we've got a Wolf on the left and a Lamb on the right. If I were Jake Lamb, I'd be nervous.
A little nervous.
Jim Wolf behind him.
That's why he's playing. He's been playing in all night. Dugout keeps on back up, and he's like, "You back up."
There's a Wolf behind me. Dexter Fowler bunts, squeeze play, throw will go nowhere. Everybody's safe, 10-6. It was not a suicide squeeze, I don't believe. It looked like Russell waited to make sure it got down. RBI infield hit. Dexter Fowler.
Yeah, and it's a good time to do it when a pitcher's fresh into the ball game too, with runners on base, so no chance for Chafin to kind of settle in. And they ambush him. This is a play that Joe will do a lot with one out. This time it's with no out. So this may have been Fowler on his own, and then just a good read by Russell. We'll get a good look at it here. And he's coming down the line, waiting to see the ball down. And if he bunts through it or pops it up, Russell could just retreat to third base.
Here's Hayward. Third straight time Fowler has reached. He's got 7 hits in the first 3 games of the season.
You talk about traffic. My goodness, the Cubs have had a slew of base runners. 10 hits. Bunch of walks, a hit batsman.
8 walks.
8 walks, couple errors.
Popped up. Infield fly rule will be in effect. that was interesting. So catch was made on the mound by the third baseman Lamb, and 4 of his teammates ran over to third. It looked like a dance drill or something.
Yeah, something like a football, some kind of a blitz. Watch, everybody's converging on the mound, and then like all at the same time, everybody just peels off.
By the way, Hayward would have been out even if Lamb hadn't caught it, but. So out number 1 in the books, and here's Zobrist, who will bat right-handed. So he doesn't tuck that left shoulder in quite as much as he does from the left side. He had a shot earlier of his chin resting on that right shoulder. One and one the count. We're in the 7th inning. This will be the 145th pitch by a Diamondback.
Yeah, the Angels on opening night threw 188 pitches.
So 21 an inning. That is a ton. League average usually around what, 16 per inning? 3 and 1.
We can look that up. I was going to say 15.7, but
is that what it was? I'm going to go 16.5. 16.2.
Okay.
Here's the 3-1. Shallow right, and Peralta makes the catch. Runners holding.
First baseman Anthony Rizzo.
Last year it was 16.2. Major League Baseball.
That's what you said.
Average. Did I really?
Yeah.
Yeah, 16.2 pitches per inning.
Yeah, and there's obviously a snowball effect, especially coming here in a 4-game series. Force a starter out early, get into that bullpen, force a couple guys out of that pen to throw a lot of pitches. Perhaps rendering an arm or two unavailable for the next night.
Ball 1 on Rizzo.
Now, if Chip Hale were a practical joker, he would come up to Wellington Castillo after the ball game tonight and say, "Hey, I want you to come out early tomorrow, work on blocking balls." Could use a little extra work. Got about 60 of them in the dirt here tonight.
Cubs with 2 in the second, 2 in the third, 5 in the fourth. And on the safety squeeze, Fowler adding a run here in the 7th. Three and 0 on Anthony.
David Ross pointing to where this ball is going to end up.
Oh, he wanted to swing at it, but it was way inside, and the bases are loaded for Chris Bryant.
Fielder Chris Bryant.
Top 4 in the batting order have been on base 13 times tonight. Bryant's been on a couple of times himself. No, he didn't. All this carnage, the Cubs have not yet hit a home run this evening.
The 1-0 pitch is hit foul out of play. Kyle Schwarber will have an MRI on his left ankle tomorrow. I guess they'll check on the knee as well. The initial diagnosis, as he left in the bottom of the second inning, was an ankle sprain. X-rays were negative. The initial X-ray . 1-1 is low. Diamondbacks pitching staff gave up 20 runs in the 3 games against the Rockies. They've surrendered 10 so far tonight. They scored 19 runs in that series, so they've put up 25 runs in the first 4 games, and they could be 1-3. Two-one. It's a strike. 2-2. Cubs are trying to improve to 3-0 to begin the year. They have scored 25 times so far. The Padres have not scored at all.
Have they played 3?
3 games.
Dodgers shut them out all 3 times.
And they got shut out in every game. At home, no less. Swing and a miss to end the inning. Cubs leave them loaded, but they did add a run. It's now 10-6. Live with the MLB.com at bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with game day, live game video highlights, StatCast news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet.
There's Pedro Strop on Tuesday. He pitched in the 9th inning against the Angels. And he was good. 3 up, 3 down with a strikeout. Brandon Drury will hit.
No, that's Brandon Drury. First pitch, fastball. Again, he's just not giving that outside corner. Slider in the dirt, but he went after it.
Drury has a chocolate lab named Brave. His younger brother gave him that name when he was in the Braves organization. There's a random Brandon Drury factoid for you.
There you go. 1-2. Braves still around? Do we know? I hope
Well,
so.
I hope so. Yeah, it's in this.
He wouldn't have changed his name or anything.
Sheet that the Diamondbacks
right?
media relations put out, player profiles. Yeah, it says has a chocolate lab.
Okay.
Brave.
Called strike 3. Pedro Strop rings up Drury. Inside the park home run. Gene Segura on this play. Kyle Schwarber suffered a leg injury.
He is fast. He did a somersault at the end too.
And D-backs Authentics is auctioning off that ball already. $300. 1 strike on him. He homered on the first pitch of the bottom of the first as well. Up and in that time. Segura, a couple years ago, suffered one of the most bizarre injuries and one of the most avoidable I've ever seen. That is, he got hit by his teammate on a backswing in the dugout by Ryan Braun in Milwaukee.
Yeah, and he was swinging a weighted bat too. I don't know that I've ever seen that before. A player in the dugout taking full swings. Segura walked right into it.
Swing and a miss. And the out completed.
I don't know if Pedro Strop has a dog or not, but if he were to get one, he should name it Slider. That's his moneymaker. Segura using a little foot wedge there to try to kick the ball.
Well, yeah, Montero was asking Adrian Johnson something after that, and that might have been it. I saw that they kind of came together. Yeah.
He's being resourceful.
Well, you're already pretty much out, right? So you might as well try it.
Yeah. Maybe they won't notice.
Ahmed fouls off.
It doesn't walk much. You know, every now and then he'll juice one. He had 9 home runs last year. He gets out in front of one. He can pull it into the seats and left.
Ahmed's hometown is East Longmeadow, Connecticut. And they've got an area in the center of town that is in the Guinness Book of World Records. Got a rotary there. 7 streets connect to it. No stoplights.
Seems like it would lead to a lot of confusion.
Yeah, but it works for them, I guess.
Yeah, there's smart people there.
Nice job, Pedro Strop. 10-6 Cubs. Great to have you with us tonight from downtown Phoenix under the roof. Cubs baseball on CSN. Mark Brady is our producer, Skip Ellison our director, our associate producer Vince Lodel, Michelle Godwin with us in the booth. Great to have you with us. It has been a wild night. Is that Joe Walsh down there, bottom right? No, look a little old. Randall Delgado will face Pedro Strop. And if you know the scouting report on Pedro, and he was a shortstop when he came up with the Rockies originally and was converted to the mound. He said, I couldn't hit a slider. That was
anything.
I think that might have been a fastball.
Yeah.
So he bounces out, but at least he made contact.
Catcher, Miguel Montero.
By the way, East Longmeadow is in Massachusetts.
Oh, really?
Not Connecticut. But they do have a 7-road intersection in Massachusetts without a stop sign or stoplight. Yeah. Montero hits it foul, out of play. By the way, Strop is in the spot that Tommy LaStella had. Matt Caesar, after he pinch hit, stayed in and left. Bryant back to third.
That explains it.
High, deep drive. A lot of room out there. And it's caught by Owens.
So it looks like Joe's prediction that Mickey would go deep tonight is not going to come true.
Shortstop, Addison Russell.
Yeah, Miguel has not really been able to join in the fun offensively. He's taking an 0 for tonight.
One 1-0 on Russell. Big night from the 8 spot. Goldschmidt underneath, and that's the inning. Cubs go down quietly, lead this one by 4 late. Pedro Strop just had his first major league plate appearance after a 1-2-3 bottom of the 7th on the mound. So he'll face Goldschmidt, Peralta, and Castillo. Gets a little tougher in this part of the order.
He's got a 4-run cushion, and he's got Goldschmidt right where he wants him, leading off, as opposed to up there with a couple of guys on base.
Pedro will have some fun with his teammates talking about that at bat, I'm sure. He hit 207 in the minor leagues. Said he could play short, said I could pick it, I couldn't hit. It's been over a decade though since he had any sort of frequent plate appearances. That's a strike. 2-2 the count on Goldschmidt. He's talking to himself.
He's probably about to get quick pitched here.
Called strike 3. Sure looked like Goldschmidt had himself out on the previous pitch.
I think he's also looking slider away there, which is the go-to pitch for Strop. So good call by Montero. I think that was a splitter or something that ran in at 88.
Pitching change when we come back. Travis Wood. Final out. His team's ahead by 4.
Travis Wood on for the 3rd time. He's on a pace to appear in 162 ball games this year. That would be a record for a pitcher. So far, so good. And Peralta's been lights out here tonight. Double, triple, double in his 3 trips to the plate.
8 for 17 on the season. One out, nobody on, bottom of the 8th. Here's the pitch. Low and outside. So if you combine Pedro Strop and David Peralta, what would you do? Would you do the two-way deal?
Hitter, return pitcher?
Yeah, you got a guy couldn't make it on the mound, became an outfielder, and shortstop who had to end up pitching. So
yeah, and we see a lot of the Strop story, right? We see a lot of position players that turn into pitchers, not so much the other way around.
Ball 4. It's not what Travis wanted to do with a 4-run lead. Well, some people may say, well, that's who you'd have, Travis Wood. He could hit a little bit. And now as a reliever, does not get that opportunity very often.
Castillo has certainly seen enough of Travis Wood, knows his stuff, knows how he likes to attack hitters.
This will be the night. We'll see Hector Rondon. Right now it would not be a save situation in the ninth with a 4-run lead.
Oof. Good swing there by Castillo. Justin Grimm is up in the Cubs bullpen, so if Travis needs help here in the 8th, it'll likely be Grimm and then Rondon in the 9th. We'll check that. It's Cahill up in the Cubs pen. Grimm had been up earlier. Now Trevor Cahill.
One and two. Wood facing a former battery mate. So we have not yet seen Warren or Rondon or Richard or Ramirez. Out of the Cubs bullpen these first 3 games as Castillo strikes out. 2 down. Here comes Jake Lamb.
Well, nice adjustment by Wood. The previous changeup, he turned over and just had a drift way off the plate. This one's in a perfect spot. Just fading off that outside corner.
Fowler is in. Chest high grab. Inning over. Diamondbacks strand 1. Cubs lead 10-6 as we go to the 9th. The Cubs have a 4-run advantage. And it'll be Caesar, Fowler, and Hayward against right-hander Randall Delgado. Worked a quick 1-2-3-8. Another game going on. Rangers and Angels are tied 3-3 in the bottom of the 8th in Anaheim.
Despite all the base runners, the Cubs have only scored 1 run since that big 4th. They've had all kinds of opportunities to really blow it wide open.
Stranded 10 men, including the bases loaded in the 5th and the 7th. Strike called on Matt Caesar. He singled as a pinch hitter in the 7th. He's now playing left. 4 for 6 to start the year. Two balls and a strike. De La Rosa, Barrett, Drabek, Chafin, and now Delgado. Nobody's gone more than 3 1/3. Chafin, the only Diamondback who's out of the game who did not allow at least 1 run.
He'll get a star and he can put on his hat.
Bounce to third. And a good strong throw by Lamb.
Yeah, nice play all the way around there by Lamb. Good feet to get into a good fielding position and a real quick transfer to that throwing hand, knowing he had Caesar going down the line, didn't have a lot of time to waste. That's how quickly he unloads and he gets plenty on it.
Wind and the 1-0. And 1-1. Now 2-1. Kevin and Blake from Elgin have stayed up late, rooting on the Cubs. The next CSN telecast will be Saturday evening. It's an earlier start. 6:30 for the pregame coverage. First pitch just after 7. Hector Rondon getting ready for the bottom of the 9th. Almost hit him. Ball 4. 4 straight reaches now for Fowler after making outs in the 1st and 2nd.
I believe that is 10 walks now issued by Diamondback pitching tonight.
It is.
See, in my world, that's a forfeit. Game officially ends right at that point. Once you issue 10 guys, yeah.
Boy, that would really be. That would be it. I mean, broken bat, base hit. Fowler got a good read on it. Fourth time Hayward's been on. 2 hits, 2 walks for him.
Second baseman.
It's not like he broke his bat. Yeah, he did. You can see a little splinter fly off right there. Good read by Fowler. Scampers over to third base with just 1 out.
Now, what if he had a 10 strikeout offense rule and a 10 walk defense rule? Whoever got there first. Chance to really add on here. And ball 1 on Zobrist. He has walked 3 times. I think the game is just fine the way it is, with little tweaks here and there.
Yeah, this is an alternative sport. I'm suggesting
Right.
that it's a heinous crime against baseball when you walk 10 men in a game.
Two and 0. So then the other question tonight is just bad command by the Diamondbacks pitchers, or an offense that is forcing guys to nibble.
Yeah, and both. Bad command. Hitters that just don't yield. In a fairly tight strike zone.
Base hit. Ben Zobrist. Fowler will score. Hayward held at third. A double for Zobrist. 11-6.
Tenacious approach. Nobody's giving up an at bat. So it's that selective aggressiveness, right? You're taking, you're not chasing, you're forcing the pitcher into the zone, but you're ready to pull the trigger when you get something you can handle.
Deep to right. Gone. Rizzo with a 3-run homer. And he's knocked in 6 tonight.
Well, we've been talking all night long about the Cubs scoring all these runs without hitting a home run. There you go. The main ingredient has delivered.
14-6.
Ford home run replay. And Rizzo hit that towering drive to center field the other night in Anaheim. This time he lines it into the seats and right.
Caesar grounded out to start the inning. Fowler walked. Hayward singled. Zobrist doubled in a run. Rizzo hit a 3-run homer, and Cub fans being heard here in Phoenix. Mike Butcher has reached his Fitbit step limit or threshold tonight.
That's what he said when he got out there. He goes, "Hey, I just buzzed." I don't know how you're doing, but I just buzzed.
Well, Rizzo has tied his career high with the 6 RBIs. You know what Anthony did? He had some Rizzos for breakfast.
He had a big bowl of Rizzos.
Ground ball wide of third. Time for the hefty home run.
A little breaking ball down and in. You heard Anthony in the dugout, and he was looking for that pitch.
Well, and I guarantee you, Chip Hale, after the game, is going to talk more about what you did, and that's the walks, than the hits.
Yeah,
that's the one thing you can generally control, right?
Yeah, I mean,
more strikes.
and there's some walks are justified, you know, others are not.
Line drive, and it drops. That's the prototypical. More Soler than Bryant, but that top spinner that dips quickly. And four consecutive hits now for the Cubs. Here is Jorge Soler batting in the pitcher's spot.
Jorge Soler.
May 23rd of last year, Anthony Rizzo knocked in 6, so it's been a good place for him. And the base running. Remember that play early. And the foul out to the catcher. He tagged from first, ran to second, and Wellington Castillo threw the ball into the outfield, and that allowed a run to score.
Yeah, what happens is when you're facing a lineup like this with a lot of dangerous hitters, and you try to nibble, and if you're just not so precise, you fall behind, and then ultimately you're either going to walk people or you have to give in, and you're going to give up damage. And
Peralta makes the grab. Snaps a streak of 5 straight Cubs reaching 2 outs. And it's the ex-D-back Montero.
Mike Butcher and Chip Hale, I think they'll tell their pitchers, look, against these guys, against these Cub hitters, you've got to find a way to get the jump on them. You got to get ahead in the count. I'll see if Miggy can join the party here.
Ground ball knocked down by Goldschmidt. He's got lots of time. And he makes the play. 4 more here in the 9th. Anthony Rizzo knocked in 3 with a line drive home run. That Cub fan particularly excited. Binny's Beverage Depot toast of the game. What a night for Anthony Rizzo. Base running, hitting, just getting on base in general. These are Binny's Beverage Depot toast of the game. 6 RBIs tonight for Rizzo. Here's Hector Rondon. Let's do the math here. This is not a safe situation with an 8-run lead.
No, they need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion just to tie this ball game up. Hector had a very nice year last year, 30 saves and 34 tries.
By the way, Binny's Beverage Depot is the official champagne provider of the Chicago Cubs. Oh, 2 on Tomas. Happier than the guy with the Diamondbacks hat on.
Tomas seeing a steady diet of sliders here tonight. Strop went an inning and a third, clean, struck out 3. Travis Wood 2/3 of an inning, a walk and a strikeout.
Cubs with 29 runs in their first 3 games. 9, 6, and 14.
Yes, he did.
He did, indeed. 1 away.
Starts on, runs off. Tomas tries to check, but cannot. Hopefully Rondon can have a nice efficient inning here and not throw too many pitches.
Ricky Weeks Jr. on deck. One and one on Chris Owings. Laid off the slider. WGN tomorrow night. Comcast Sportsnet Saturday. WGN on Sunday to wrap up the road trip. And then back home to open up Wrigley Field. Monday night. Swing and a miss, 2-2.
Oh my.
Called strike 3. Frozen on a heater.
What a beautiful pitch. Keeps that shoulder tucked and just drives that ball over the outside corner. Paint at 96.
Number 5, Ricky Weeks Jr.
Here's Weeks. And a strike called. Weeks has not played any infield. Former second baseman, and he lifts one in the air out into deep right center on the move. Fowler makes a catch. Cubs win. Cubs win a come from behind 14-6 victory. They scored the last 10 runs of this game, and they've won 12 in a row on the road in the regular season going back to the end of last year.
Just an incredible show by the Cubs offense here tonight. Banged out 14 hits, worked 10 walks, and scoring 14 runs. Some slick base running by Rizzo, and a little tip of the cap to John Lackey too. Obviously not his night. He allowed 6 runs in 6 innings, but after giving it up early, he hung in there, and a big part of this W.
So join us again here on CSN 6:30 for our pregame coverage for Game 3 of this 4-game weekend set. Now for JD and our entire CSN crew here in Phoenix, Glenn Casper with your final score. Cubs 14, Diamondbacks 6. Stay tuned for Blue Cross Blue Shield Cubs postgame live next.